Hi, my name's Gwem and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm looking at the Kenton socket upgrade kit for the Roland TR-606 drum machine. So you've already seen the 606 on my channel. I've used it in a few jams and it's been unmodified and it's a classic. I've been in two minds about whether to add separate outputs to it or not, but I thought, well, you know, Kenton, it's a company with a good reputation, so I will buy their kit and I can do a review as well. And I'm sure it will be good. So let's dive right in and look at the kit. So the kit arrived in two jiffy bags, one inside the other. And then inside the second jiffy bag, we have this wrapping, which I will now open. I haven't really opened it yet. Okay, so there is a receipt. The total amount shipped to me was £33, and it did arrive the next day as well. So there is like a resealable bag here. Let's see what else we've got. So there is sticker for the back. Let's try and focus in on that. Which, as you can see, has the different drum names on it. We've got what appears to be a ground wire. And then we have these 5 individual sockets for the sounds, which are open and closed hi-hat, cymbal, low high tom, snare drum and bass drum. And the last thing here is the fitting instructions, so let's just have a look at those. For the guidelines to remove the cover, drill holes, fit the jack sockets, and it's got recommendation as to the order. I won't go into the intimate details because, you know, clearly, although this information is available on the web, I don't want to, you know, give away all Kenton's secrets. And then the instructions for removing the cover. It's got measurements here for drilling the case, which is good. We have a large layout of the 606 with where you need to solder the wires for the outputs. Okay. So far I'm quite impressed. It seems to have everything you need and the instructions are very complete. So what I'm going to do now is fit the kit. I'll do like a time lapse and at the end I will let you know what I think. Let's see. Okay, that's done. It took me pretty much an hour, 57 minutes according to the timer on the video. So it was quite an easy job. The instructions are good, but there was a couple of little things that I think could be improved. So firstly, there is, you can't quite see it here, well actually you can see it here, there's a this ridge here kind of prevents you from putting the sockets in. Now the instructions say to be 9mm down from the top edge, but I think if you were maybe 10mm down from the top edge, then you would be able to fit the sockets better considering that lip, but it was fine like that. The other thing that I found a bit confusing was there's instructions on this sheet here for the colours of the wires, and it was quite difficult to keep to those because that diagram is back to front. But anyway, the colour of the wires doesn't really make much difference because ultimately it's a very simple wiring job and you don't really need to keep track as long as it's a different colour. So that was the Kenton kit installed. Let's go and try it now. It's the next evening actually. By the time I'd cleared everything up in my kitchen, it was about 2 AM. So let's try and put this socket kit through its paces. I've just programmed a simple beat into the TR-606, which I will play now. Okay, brilliant. So the first thing that I want to try to connect is the bass drum. So I've got a lead here which is a 3.5mm mono to the big jack. Now the way that the Kenton kit is arranged is a bit different to Roland drum machines that come with individual sockets already. So normally in like a 707 or an 808 or something like that, when you plug in the individual output, it gets muted from the main output. But this doesn't happen on this Kenton kit. So if I play it, the bass drum will come out, the individual output and the main output, which seems like a bit of an issue. But actually, if you just turn down the instrument volume, it will no longer come out the main output, but it will come out the individual output. So that kind of mitigates that limitation. And actually that could be kind of cool because you could layer the processed and unprocessed versions of the sound. So an advantage, in fact. So I can tell already that the level of these individual outputs is a bit lower than the main output, but that's not a problem. It doesn't look that bad. So I'm going to try and EQ that kick drum to make it sound a bit better. And because we have individual kick drum output, I can apply some reverb to the main channel and it won't be applied to the kick drum. let's try and plug in the snare drum as well. Now, just like before, I'm going to turn it down on the 606, but it will still come out with full volume on the individual output. So that's all very well. Let's use this transient designer to go to work on the snare and the kick drum. Now, initially I'm going to start with the transient designer disabled on this one channel is the kick drum and this is the snare drum. So let's do a job on the snare. Sounding pretty good. I'm going to add a bit of distortion onto the snare just by overdriving the desk. Okay, that snare sounds really electro now with a bit of distortion and with some more attack, and I've made the sound longer with the sustain control. Let's see what we can do with that slightly weak sounding 606 kick. Okay, that's pretty good. I'm going to turn down the accent a bit so it exaggerates the kick drum less. And finally, let's just throw a compressor over the whole thing. Perhaps a little distortion on the kick drum would be nice too. I'll just try that. Well, there we are. I think that shows how much you can really do with a drum machine and individual outputs. Being able to process the individual drums separately does give you quite a lot more flexibility over the sound, and it's toughened up even this Roland TR-606. Although I would still kind of like a bit more aggression out of the kick drum, but I'm happy with all the other sounds. So what do I think of the Kenton kit overall? Well, I think for the money that it costs, which was around £30 posted, it arrived the next day. It had the instructions. Probably, you know, if you bought the parts individually, you could probably do it cheaper. But honestly, I think Kenton's a quality brand, and I do think it is worth the money. With that in mind, I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you did, hit that like button. And if you want to see more content like this, then please subscribe. That will motivate me to do more stuff. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.